Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Chapter 7.1 review. Directions say to show all your work on a separate sheet of paper, because yours is not as cool as mine. It's a little tiny one. So, let's go ahead and get started. Directions for the first one says determine whether the following polynomials are factored completely. If they are not, factor them. So, number one, is it factored completely? Let's see, is there any number that you can take out of P and 9 to simplify it? The answer is no. So is it factored completely? Well, that answer is yes. All right, number two. Is there something you can take out of all of those numbers? Okay. Is it an H? Well, because we've got H, H, oh, no H, so it's not an H. But what about those numbers? Always start with the lowest. Does 8 go into all of those numbers? It does. So I can divide everything by 8. The GCF comes out front, and then you're left with h squared minus 3h plus 2. All right, number 3. First, is there a number that goes into both 18 and 30? There is. That number is 6. My leading coefficient is negative, so this all has to be negative. And now take a look. They both have w's. I'm going to factor out the smallest one, which is the square. So then we've got 6 negative w squared, and then we're left with 3w minus 5. All right, let's look at 4. Is there anything that we can take out of what's inside of the parentheses? Nope. So, is it factored completely? Yes. Number 5. Anything we can do in the inside to simplify that anymore? Nope. So it's factored completely. Now the last one, number 6. Now for 6, it looks like they just kind of stopped halfway. Like, well, hey, you gotta finish your problem, buddy. Finish your work. So, when we're finishing it, the y plus 8 comes together, and then you put the x squared plus 3 together. And remember, the order doesn't matter. All right. Now, this is to factor the following polynomials by using the GCF. So, what can we take out of all of those numbers? And if you need a multiplication chart, use it. Well, I think a 7 goes into all of those. And then they all have h's, so which one's the lowest h? And that's to the 5th power, so we can take out h to the 5th to all of these. So the 7h to the 5th comes out front. And now we divide everything. 14 divided by 7 is 2, and you subtract the exponents. 63 divided by 7 is 9h, and then 42 divided by 7 is 6, and your h's cancel there. Okay? All right, number 8. Our leading coefficient is negative, so whatever we pull out is going to be negative. The number that goes in both 30 and 42 is 6. And now, do they have the same variable? They do not. So negative 30 divided by negative 6 is positive 5n, and negative 42 divided by negative 7 is positive 7y. All right, number 9. Why don't you guys go ahead and try number 9 on your own. Go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so the GCF was 5n to the third, because 5 goes into all of those numbers. And then all of them have n, and the lowest exponent is to the third. Alright. Ooh, my leading coefficient here is negative, so whatever I take out is going to be negative. Now, the only thing that everything has in common is a variable. So we're going to take out an m. So the negative m comes out front, and then we're left with 9m squared minus 2m. And then negative m divided by negative m, they don't just cancel, something's left over. And that something is a positive 1. Okay, number 11 is very similar to that. So why don't you go ahead and try number 11. Pause the video, and good luck. Okay, and the key thing to remember here is when you have y's, they don't just cancel out and you're left with 0. You're always left with 1. Okay? Alright, number 12. We're getting a little bit more complicated. So, remember, you always want the GCF because you might be like, hey, it's 6. 6 goes into both of those, but yes, so does another number. And that other number is 12. Okay? And it's a negative 12 because the 36 is negative. Alright, they both have W's. 3 is the smallest one. And they both have n's, and 2 is the smallest one. So the negative 12w cubed n squared comes out front. And then we're left with 3n. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. Mr. Grice forgot something, that we have to write those in order. I'm sorry, so that's n squared w cubed, so n to the 5th w squared plus 4, because those cancel out. Okay? Now, here's some of the new stuff that we've been talking about. Okay? This is where we draw a line down the middle, and then we worry about the front half and the back half. Okay, in the front, we can take out a 3 to both of those, and then d to the 7th. And when we do that, we get 3d to the 7th, and we're left with d. Oh, wait, Mr. Grice. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm confusing myself. I apologize for that. All we have to do is look at all of these together. Mr. Grice is crazy because I forgot that we have to look for GCF first. What's the GCF of all of these? Okay. And that, my friends, it's actually 3. So I was right about that. Now they all have D's. Which one's the smallest? And that's to the 5th power. So 3d to the 5th comes out front. And now we're left with d cubed minus 11d squared minus 8d plus 1. And that's all we have to do for that one. Okay. Now the reason why that's it, because if we tried to do this and we split the middle term, they wouldn't come out equal. So that's why that's as far as we can go. Okay? Now, the same thing here. What number goes into all of those? Well, that's an 8. And we're going to go p to the third, because p to the third, whoa, what was that? I don't even know what letter I tried to make right there. P to the third, p to the third. Guys, go ahead and try to divide it all out, and I'll have the answer up in just a sec. Okay, and that's what you get once you divide everything out. All right, number 15. Now we're doing the ones where we draw the line down the middle. Okay, so looking at the front, because we're going to split these up into the front half and the back half, what can you divide or factor from the first one? Well, 4 goes into both of those, and then they both have an x. So the 4x comes out front, and we're left with 2y plus 3. Okay? Now what goes into both of those? And that, my friends, is 5. So the positive 5 comes out front, and you're left with 2y plus 3, which is perfect because that's what we're looking for. Okay, so the 2y plus 3 comes out front, and then the 4x plus 5. Okay? Okay, now don't forget that that negative 2ab is negative. You guys are all on your own for number 16. Pause the video, and good luck. Okay, and when you're done, you get 3a squared minus 2b, and then a minus 7b. All right, finally, number 17. Now, these are the ones where we're going to factor first, and then we're going to go and divide it in half, okay? So, looking here, look at all of the individual terms. Is there something they all have in common? First off, you always start with the lowest number, and so I can divide everything by 2. Now let's just look at the variables. So that one's only got an m. Well, that one's got an m. That one's got an m. Oh, but that one's only got an n. So the only thing I can factor out is the 2. And we're left with 8m cubed plus 32m squared n plus mn plus 4n squared. Okay, so now we can draw the line down the middle and look at each half. Okay, we got the blue half, we got the yellow half. Okay, in the blue, we can factor out 8m squared. And when we do that, we get 8m squared out front, and we're left with m plus 4n. Okay, now in the yellow, the only thing you can factor out here is an n, and that's a positive n, and then you're left with m plus 4n, which is perfect because that's exactly what we needed. Okay, so when we write our final answer, the 2's still out front, 8m squared plus n, and the m plus 4n. And there you go. Ta-da! You did it. Now number 18, you're going to have to do that all by yourself. Okay? So I'll pause it or start it halfway along the way just to double check to make sure you guys are doing okay. But go ahead and pause the video and give it a try. Okay, so the first thing you could have taken out was the 5xy. Alright, so now split the terms, and you got the blue and the yellow. Treat them both separately, take out the GCF, and then you'll get your answer. So go ahead and pause the video and try the rest of it. Okay, and then there's the final answer. The key thing here, guys, don't forget about that 5xy that you factored all the way from the beginning. Okay? Well, if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Otherwise, that's going to be it for Algebra 2, Chapter 7.1 review. Good luck on the quiz, guys.